Hi, James. It's Joy again. My second question is if you max fund an IUL over the life of the policy, what should you expect your internal or your net internal rate of return to be? Thank you.
All right, thanks, Joy. Um, okay, so good question. And I'm sure this is something a lot of people look at. Internal rate of return on the policy 30, 40 years down the road. Um, what should you expect? The answer is quite a bit more complicated. Um, I don't really know what your expectations should be. The actual rate of return is going to vary incredibly wildly depending on your index options, the bonus options, how much you actually contribute to the policy based on your cost, how old you are when you start the policy because your insurance costs are going to be lower in the early years and higher in the later years. So um, if you start the policy in your 60s or 70s, which some people do, I wouldn't recommend necessarily an IUL in that case, but depends on the overall situation and your goals. Some of those can work. I know there's some premium financing options out there that they say can work for a 60-year-old with an IUL. But the underlying cost of insurance relative to how much you're going to put into the policy is going to affect your internal rate of return. So, how much you can actually expect, gosh, I really don't have any idea. But I thought it was a great question because there's a lot of things that go into that and a lot of things that you should consider. So, it's not just what is the best numbers that this agent can put in front of me with their illustration. That is not how you should be shopping for an IUL. You want to make sure that the guarantees that come along with it and the risks are balanced to meet your personality. Okay, that they're balanced to meet your ultimate needs. You don't want to take too much risk and end up with too much money off the table in the end, and now your needs aren't met because you tried to get a little bit too much. You reached a little bit too far and you took on a little bit too much risk. Because some of these policies will do really well if we set them up at the base, or you just take the free bonus option, or you go with a capped option instead of an uncapped option. Um, all of those decisions can make such a big difference in your ultimate return each year. And then, of course, the overall return, long term net internal rate of return. So, hopefully that gives you an idea on, I mean, hopefully that answers your question to some satisfaction. Uh, when it comes to illustrations, I've seen anywhere from 6% to 10% in long-term internal rate of returns. So, and I can illustrate both of those on the same exact policy just by tweaking a few things. So a lot of it comes down to the integrity of the agent that you're working with. And if I'm showing you an internal rate of return that's at 10%, you can be darn sure I'm going to also tell you that may not be likely. It's a possibility based on how we designed it and the index options we put into it and the funding that we expected you to put into it and the charges that the insurance company is currently charging for insurance. That's a possibility. It's definitely not a guarantee. So as long as we're on the same page with that, then I think everything's good, and I'm okay with at least showing it to you. I typically try not to even show the most that I can do though in that situation. But if I'm competing with another agent who's showing you the absolute best that their product can offer, it doesn't really suit your needs or my needs by presenting you a product that can illustrate better, but I'm limiting it on my side to something that I think is just realistic because we don't know how the stock market's going to perform. We don't know how the index options are going to perform in the future. We just simply don't know. But we're going to look at the history going back and we're going to make our best guesses and we're going to roll the dice a little bit. That's the idea behind the IULs, and you just got to ultimately decide what you're comfortable with. This was a question asked and answered during one of our WealthCare Wednesdays live streams. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section below, or join us on one of our Wealth Care Wednesday live streams where you can ask the question and we'll answer it on the air live. Hope you found value in today's video. If you'd like to find out more about IUL and whole life, check out these videos right over here, and we'll see you next time. Now go maximize your cash flow.